Hello, I am Wanderer001 and this is my review of the 2013 Hyundai Sonata. There are other reviews of this particular car out there already. However, I feel that I can give a slightly different perspective on it as I actually purchased this car. I'm not a car reviewer. I don't review it for however long and then return it to the dealer so that they can hand it off to the next person to review. I actually purchased this car after doing my own reviews. Well, actually, my own research of the car. So I liked it enough to actually purchase it. This is the baseline GSL model, which is another thing. Most of the review models that dealerships will loan out to professional car reviewers are the higher tier models because they want to show off all of the extra features that you can get with the car. This is as baseline as I could get it from my local dealer. It's the GSL package, as I said, so it's the baseline, but it does have some of the upgraded equipment packages, such as the popular package, and that consists of fog lights, powered driver's seat with powered lumbar support, heated front seats regardless of if they are cloth or leather, chrome interior handle accents as well as inlay. This would normally be cloth, automatic headlights, so they'll turn on when it gets a little bit dark out instead of you having to manually turn them on. I actually have this in my 2005 Malibu, and quite frankly they turn on a lot more than I would like them to. So far these have been really good. They don't turn on arbitrarily during the daytime, so I'm hoping that helps the bulbs last a lot longer. You'll notice on the front end of the 2013 Sonata, it has a very aggressive looking front fascia. So if we look at the front headlights, we can see they're very aggressively shaped. They do have a nice beam length to them. You'll also notice that the front grille matches the paint color of both the body and the side mirrors. Now, if you wanted chrome, that actually is an option on higher level trim models. For whatever reason, on the base level, they consider front grille with the same color standard, which is kind of a nice option if you like that. I kind of prefer chrome myself, but that's that. What we're going to do now is I'm going to take you up to the front. We're going to take a look inside the engine, and then from there we'll proceed to walk around the car, and then I'll take you inside the car. So what we're looking at here is the underlying heart and soul of the 2013 Sonata. What I'm going to also preface is key fob for the baseline, so it does not have a remote start. However, I did get keyless entry. You have trunk release, unlock, lock, and on the back sounding the horn. You do get two sets of inverted stroke keys. This one is the valet key, while this is your standard. My wife has the other key for this car, as actually it is her car and I'm merely allowed to drive it and fill it up for her about every month, because it does have an obscenely large gas tank, which will get you about, city you'll get 24, and on the highway you'll get 35. So you may have seen other reviews if you were looking into either the Sonata, the Kia Optima. Those are the ones that we were looking at. In fact, we kind of liked the aggressive exterior of the Optima more than we liked the sleeker lines of the Sonata. However, interior features, which we'll get to later, kind of led us to go with this over the Kia. You may have heard that the underpinnings or the engine for the Sonata and the Optima are similar. Well, we took both out for test drives, so I actually have pictures of the engine compartment for the Optima, which I will interject somewhere on this. As you can see, they're exactly the same. There's no similarities. It's exactly the same GDI, so gasoline direct injection engine, battery, all this same thing. You're looking at about 198 horses and 184 pounds of torque. I might annotate exact specifications a little later, or feel free to correct me in the comment section below, because like I said, I'm not a car reviewer. I am the owner of the car, but I'm not super car guy. I'm more of a tech guy, if you've seen any of the other videos on my channel. Another option that was kind of nice with the Sonata compared to the Optima is, we're gonna swap this and pan that way. The hood compartment has hydraulics. So rather than needing to take the bar to prop open the hood, you have a hydraulic hood opening, which is rather nice. Okay, so while we're looking at the engine, while it's open, I'm going to go turn on the engine so you get a sound for it, and maybe I'll give it a little rev. Now, I'm not sure how well that came off on the camcorder, but really that was just me moving the tachometer to about 4 RPM. So we're going to move on to the side of the car. Okay, and again, you can see that very aggressively swooping roofline, as well as they call it a swoop on the side panel molding to give it that aggressive, constantly moving look even when it's not moving. You'll also notice on this one, even though it is the base model, there is an option for 16-inch alloyed wheels, which this one does have. I did forget to mention that even on the base model, it has heated side mirrors. So you can get an idea of what the sides look like. Like I said, I'll take you interior space in a moment, but just so you get an idea of what the doors look like. It has solar control window glass all around to help keep it from getting too hot inside. It does get a little hot, but not too hot. You will also notice that on the driver's side in the back here is your gas. Alright, and on the back here, I may or may not blur out the place that we purchased the car. This isn't a review on the particular dealership and how we were treated. It's a review of the car itself. You'll also notice there is a lot of chrome accenting, which I do appreciate because it does give it a slightly higher class feel. What I'm going to do now is you'll notice bottom right of the car, hopefully you can see that, there is a singular tailpipe exhaust. There are mud flaps on this particular car. You may have noticed them in this shot or one of the side shots as I go along. Those are an option, they're not a standard. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go show you the trunk space. What I did want to show you before we actually got to the trunk space was this Sonata right here. This is a $50 bumper sticker that's listed as a bumper protector. It's supposed to prevent you from getting scratches on the bumper, pulling things in and out of the trunk. While that may or may not actually work, I was kind of a little annoyed at having to pay for a bumper sticker for the back of my car. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the trunk using the keyless remote entry. And what you see here is a 25-gallon storage bin in the back of the trunk. It is, I don't want to call it sideways mode, but we have it straddling the entire trunk. You can get two of them in there side by side. The bars are positioned far enough to the sides where they will not hit a container inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that container out of there and show you the interior space. Alright, so here I'm going to try my best to show you the interior space. As I'm doing this freehand, you'll notice on the left hand side you have your emergency fuel release. That's because when we get to the front, you'll see that the fuel release is an electric button, so you kind of need to have that. The back, you will see your 60-40 split to extend the trunk space. Maybe a little difficult to see, but the 60-40 split does actually narrow down, so you're not going to get the width of the trunk all the way through. It's going to kind of narrow down to a Yeah, you could probably stick some golf clubs or skis through there. This particular car that we purchased did come with a cargo net. You can see we haven't gotten it yet. Well, we've got the cargo net, but we haven't opened it, we haven't used it. It also came with a cargo mat. What you'll notice also is on either side is a pull tab in order to drop the 60/40 split. So you pull that, and then the front will loosen to come down. This part you will need assistance for, because after you pull, it loosens, but you can't really do it from the back side here. I will attempt, because my assistant did the one side, so I should have loosened it, and we're just gonna go in here and give it a push from behind, and there you go. So that is what the 60/40 split looks like, and that is the size of your opening, and that was somebody going over a bridge. Another thing that we actually liked about the Hyundai Sonata over the Kia Optima was the Kia only came with a fix-a-flat. The Sonata here, as you can see, does come with a donut spare and with all of the accoutrements that you need in order to change your spare. Alright, now we're going to go to the other side of the car, and lastly we have the other side. So this is the passenger side. You'll notice in the back here there is a XM satellite receiver, standard shark fin, but it's another option that the Hyundai had. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you inside. We'll start with the driver's side, we'll go to the passenger side, and then I'll show you the back for headroom, legroom. Okay, so for the interior portions I'm going to freehand the camera. Hopefully I can keep it steady. Here is your driver's side panel. You'll notice down here you have exit lights, which are kind of nice. Bring you over to the side panel. You have driver's side, passenger side, window options for down. You have auto up and down for the driver's side, window down for the passenger side, lock, unlock, prevent windows from unlocking, and then power mirrors, which is always a nice option. Coming up the side panel here, side mirror. Again, same body color as the rest of the car. Decently sized, supposedly heated. Haven't had a chance to test that out yet because we're not in the winter time at the moment. If it is heated, I normally put little cheater mirrors on here, circular things with double back tape. If they are heated, I don't think I'll be able to do that, but I will follow up once I find out. And here is your door handle. What I have to say about the doors and the locking mechanisms, they are really, really quiet. Like my 05 Malibu, you can hear it when you lock the doors and walk away. With this, it's actually kind of difficult to hear them. I mean, it's a nice feature because it's quiet, but I kind of gotten used to hearing the lock when I walk away from my car. So here we see the driver's side seat. It is very comfortable, supportive, both under your legs and to the sides of your back here, you can see. This is another reason why we went with the Sonata over the Optima. The Optima, the front portion of the seats were angled upwards and they kind of cut into the back of your legs. We only went for a 20-minute test drive in that car, but by the end of it, our legs were actually really sore. So this is why we went with the Sonata over the Optima, or one of the many reasons. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you down here, because this is an area where I don't really normally see on reviews. So here you see you have step for the emergency brake, hood release, brake, and the acceleration pedal. You'll notice that the acceleration pedal is actually mounted to the floor. Now there's an option that I'm going to be talking about shortly that utilizes the fact that it's mounted to the floor, or at least it's why I feel that it's mounted to the floor. We'll come up this way. Here you have your fuse box. And this is the front dash on the driver's side. So you've got your electric fuel release and your electric trunk release. Moving up, you've got your dimmable panel, so you can change obviously the display panel. I'll show you that momentarily. You have an eco button and a traction control on and off button. The eco button is an interesting feature that's supposed to yield you about 7% better gas mileage when it's engaged. What it does is it prevents, well, it doesn't prevent, let me rephrase that. What it does is it changes the way that the engine performs, keeping it at lower revs, as well as the way that the air conditioner, heater, and while I said that was mounted to the floor for a reason, I feel that it also prevents you from stepping on the accelerator extremely hard. I have trained myself to have a very light foot because I have a V6 in my Malibu. So to eke out as much gas mileage as I can, I've trained myself to have an extremely light foot. When I have this car in eco mode, when I drive it, I feel that there's resistance on that acceleration pedal when eco mode is engaged as to when it is not engaged. So we're gonna go take you inside here. So to start, we will look at your dash when not on. If you notice here, it will tell you if you have a door open. In this case, it is indicating that the front driver's side door is open. We'll just close that. So you have your tachometer and your speed indication, as well as this we'll show you in a moment, has many different features that will pop up. All right, there's what your start looks like. Now you'll notice that it shows, this is a rotating display. Right now it's on distance until empty, so it says 346 miles until empty. And you can see that as of right now, I've driven a total of 315 miles. Like I said, primarily this is my wife's car, and she drives all of 5 minutes to and from work. We've had the car for roughly a month and a half now. Over here, you'll notice that it is a digital display, which might be a little hard to see because it's kind of sunny out right now, for your engine temperature as well as your fuel gauge. Now, the fuel gauge being digital kind of annoys me, but it does seem a lot of newer cars are doing this. The fuel gauge being digital means you don't see the needle progressing. You do see little tack marks for a quarter of a tank and half a tank, but these bars are supposed to indicate the progression towards those. We've done it where we've started the car, had a full indication, and then 2 seconds later, as we started driving, that bar went away. So it's not like you had the old school dials where you could see it slowly progress. You have to kind of guesstimate as to when these bars will disappear. You will know when you have a quarter of a tank and a half a tank, but you will not know how close you are. Because I'm sure once I start driving away today, since I filled this car up on Wednesday, this will probably go away. As I stated before, your indicators are here. Right now I'm just running it off of battery. It is indicating that the eco mode is on. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom in on the center display here, and I'm going to rotate through the different options that you have. So you have distance until empty, fuel average, so this is average of the lifetime of the driving of the car. Instant MPG I have found to be less useful than I wanted it to be, because at least when I'm driving it, it either says I'm getting 0 MPG or I'm getting 50 MPG. So while it is real time, it's not real accurate. Average speed, elapsed driving time, a trip A, trip B, and then back to the distance until empty. We will zoom it out, and what I'll do now is I will turn it off completely. So you see the little Sonata thing disappear, and I will turn it on. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to close all of the windows, which you might have heard in the background there, just to show you how quiet this car actually is. I have heard that people say the road noise is kind of noticeable, but for me, my older car, since it's been a good 8 years since I've purchased a car, in comparison, this is ridiculously quiet. So let's hear the engine start up, and you can also watch the front dash. And there you see the front dash illuminated. This is not with the headlights on. This is just illuminated for normal driving. If I turn the headlights on, you'll see if you notice a difference. You do not really notice a difference. And I'll rev the engine a little bit. Just so you can hear what that sounds like. You'll also notice here in the fuel gauge area is also the indicator for shifting. If I bring it over here, you can shift to lower or higher gears and back to drive. I'll show you that feature a little later. You may have heard the doors unlock. It does have automatic unlocking doors once you shift back into park. And I'm putting the emergency brake on, which for a step emergency brake is really smooth. I'm actually very happy with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of move out as far as I can. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to turn the car off and try and show you the front window, show you the front steering wheel. It is a telescoping steering wheel with wheel mounted controls for your radio. So you have volume up, volume down, control the channels, change the mode, because it has FM, FM1, FM2, AM, and XM. This has Bluetooth, so here are your Bluetooth phone controls. Hang up, pick up, voice activation. These are how I was cycling through the different options on the display screen. You have your trip, which actually will cycle you through, and the reset, if you do a long press, will reset most of those options. Here you have cruise control settings, because yes, it does have cruise control. We'll just kind of zoom in quick there. That is your windshield options, and that is your lighting options. This ring here is for the included fog lights. All right, moving on to the center console here. At the top of the stack, you have a clock, which in comparison to the Optima, which was really, really small, kind of placed weird and hard to see. You'll notice at the top, there is a little protrusion of the front dash that kind of helps the clock be simpler to see or easier to see. It's also angled at a way that's supposed to be easier for the driver to manipulate and see. Moving down, has a CD as well as radio for, like I stated before, FM, XM, and AM, FM. You can control all of these options from the dash, from the wheel, as well as on the dash here. I'm not going to go into the specifics of it unless requested, but you do have programmable favorites 1 through 6. One of the options that kind of made me a little turned off by this particular car was this. This is how you cycle through the different modes for the air conditioning and heating. You can see right now it's on the face, and the only way to cycle through this is to just hit the button. Now it's face and feet, just feet, windshield, and face again. If you wanted to do a shortcut directly to just having the windshield, there's a button for it there, as well as the rear defroster. Another thing that I will mention is, yes, you can cycle internal air by closing the external dampeners. This switch here, if placed at the lowest point, so you have cold and then you have max AC. If you're in the max AC mode, you cannot open the damper. Well, since I have it not technically on, I can turn it on and off. But if the car was running, you would not be able to turn that option off or the AC option off. You have to bring it up one click so that it's level with the blue, and then you can open the damper again and turn the air conditioner off just to get cycling of cold air. As part of the center stack here, we'll also notice storage. If we press that button, you have a deep hidden pocket that closes, as well as a center area that you can put loose items. You'll also notice that you have 2 jacks for cigarette style adapters, as well as one for the USB, for the USB iPod dock, as well as an aux cable. The USB adapter, supposedly you can only get from Hyundai proper, but I'm sure if you look around online, you'll be able to find something. Here we'll look at yet another storage area in the middle. The front shifter, which is actually rather stylish for what it is. You have 2 cup holders, and your center armrest / storage area. This is something else that we liked on this particular car. It's soft, but not made of cloth. There were some that we looked at that were made of cloth. You have top storage as well as deep well storage, and there, which is a little difficult to access when that's down, but you have an extra place to put more miscellaneous stuff. I did forget to mention is that on the driver's side there is a cup holder space, as well as a miscellaneous area for maps and so forth. Moving up from the console, you have the rear view mirror, which has Hyundai's Blue Link, which is their version of OnStar. You get this free for you get basic service free for 3 years when you purchase a Hyundai. And we'll move up here since we're up this way. So you've got a place for your sunglasses. You've got the dome light, which I'll show you because it's further back. You have your button for that. This is actually an ambient lighting source, so when the car is driving at night and you have the lights on, you have ambient light inside. You've got driver and passenger lights there. You've got your microphone for your Bluetooth, because you can connect a cell phone via Bluetooth to the car. If you want more information on that, just leave a comment and I'll let you know. I'll show you. Here you have front flip down visor on both sides. You'll notice that rather than having the lights built into the visor, the light is built in behind the visor, and that right there opens and shuts a mirror. And here you have a clip for documents. It's really solid. It is small, but it does block out the sun. And like I said, you hear that? That's a really solid visor. Moving across to the passenger side, same seat. It doesn't have electric movement, but it does have, the bar underneath. You have your glove box, which is a very sturdy glove box. Not lit inside, but, it's a glove box. It's got a decent amount of space. And on the passenger side, you have this little extra itty-bitty pocket, as well as a cup holder and side well for more stuff. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna swing it in the back here, show you the back. For teenagers or small children, you can probably fit 3 small children back here, or 3 teenagers that don't mind getting too cozy. Full-size adults, you're looking at probably 2. The center acts as an armrest / 2 cup holders. So that's going to be a little uncomfortable because it sticks out slightly. You'll also notice on both passenger doors, cup holder and storage space. I'll swing over this way, cup holders and storage space. Headroom in the back is adequate, but if you sit up straight, you may hit, not hit your head. I'm 5'7", and my head comes fairly close to that top portion there. I think it's partially due to the fact that it has those deep sweeping lines, roof lines. If you look on the sides here, you can see the OS handles are located for both passengers in the rear of your car, as well as front passenger. The dome light, as I stated before, is located further in the back of the car here, which can be manually turned on and off. A little odd, but it does what it does. Like I said, you'll see the 3 headrests back there. And part of the, in the back of the car here, you'll notice very, very teeny window back there, that little extra bit. When we test drove the Optima, I sat in the back of the car just to see how it would ride. The Optima had further sweeping plastics, so you kind of cut that much window off, and that window in the back there, that itty bitty window, was even smaller. So it made the back feel very claustrophobic, and that was part of the reason that we didn't end up going with it. Another reason was this here, the panel between front and rear passengers was thicker, so it was hard to see when you were looking over your shoulder for merging in traffic. Alright. Here we can see what the seats folded down look like for room in the back. Even with the headrests in place in the back and the seats in the driving position and passenger position, there is still ample room for them to lie down. So all in all, tried to cover as much as I could think of and remember. Actually, I did forget to mention that road noise when driving is very minimal. It's very hard to see. It does have a smooth ride. Steering, not terrible. Compared to my wife's old Saturn, it's very, very good. It's almost on par with my Malibu. There are a few points that irk me a little bit, but I'm not going to nitpick over those. So, like I said, I tried to cover as much information as I could think of. If you notice, the sun is waning over the cars, so it just kind of lets you know how long I've been out here doing this. If you have any particular requests or questions, like I said, I actually purchased this car. I'm not just a generic car reviewer. I'll be happy to answer them to the best of my abilities. I have been Wander 001. Thank you for watching.